Welcome back, boys and girls. It is season 4 of the NAO League, and that is also season 4 of this show. We've been doing this for going on 4 years. 4 years.
Like I told Ricky, I try not to think about how long we've been doing this.
Well, don't think about it because we've been doing it for a while now. So we're all trained professionals. And Mark is getting ready with his beer. Tank Top Mike, you look great. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Happy to see you. Cheers to another year.
Here's to another year.
That satisfies the commissioner statement, I believe.
Well,
Yes.
I was going to say a little more. Year 4, and we've had 3 different champs going into year 4. I wonder if it'll be 4. I know that DBs want to get it real bad so they can tell us ad nauseum that they're the first repeat champs or 2-time champs, you know. So
Well,
I would just
I
say to the
will
league,
say
get
that
out there and do your work, guys. Don't let that happen. Not on my watch. Go ahead, Sean. Hey, how's it feel to get interrupted?
Classic NAO. I'm trying to interrupt Mark right off the bat. I will say that the DBs have been very, very nice champions. They haven't rubbed it in as much as I would.
Oh yeah, I'd have
I
been
would
way
be-
worse had I won any of the last 2 years.
Yeah, wait
Yeah.
until I win. You will be thinking that the DBs were angels compared to what I plan doing.
Can't wait to see the comments after someone hears you say, "Wait until I win."
It's gonna happen.
Michael posts the show, and in 5 minutes, Sean just
Yeah.
said, "Wait till I win," and here comes all the comments.
What is there? Who cares? Bowl trophy now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I made it.
Yeah.
It was my idea. All right, we're gonna do. This is the first week. Football starts in 2 days. We're taping on Tuesday. It starts on Thursday. I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. I know everybody else in this league is excited. I've been staring at Tank Top Mike's freaking roster for longer than I've been looking at my own. It seems like I'm ready to get this week 1 started. How about y'all?
I was a little nervous
All right,
when
you
you
guys
I was a little nervous when you said I've been staring at tank tops, and you paused just a little bit. I
Yeah,
wasn't
there was
sure
a-
what was.
There was a weird pause.
It was a weird pause, and then almost like he said, "Oh, I better not say. I better not say.
better
Peck.
add something.
Better not say Pecs." His roster is nice. Got a nice roster there, tank top.
Got some nice arms. I mean, rosters. I mean,
I feel like I have some week 1 woes though. You know, I don't always start the strongest. So
I know that's what's been bothering me the most. To be honest with you. I'll get into it a little bit more when we go over our matchup together. But you not having the best of luck in week 1 is making me more nervous about week 1.
we'll see. We'll see.
All right, Mark. Get us
Chess-
rolling, brother.
That's going to be fun Thursday night. That's half the reason I took a break from it, is because I was like, man, Thursday, there's going to be like 1,000 freaking posts.
I hope so, because it seems like Sunday mornings everybody just disappears into nothingness, and then it's just me. Like,
Yeah.
where is everybody all
Yeah.
all Sunday?
Hey, I told Sean I'm turning over a new leaf. I usually like turn everything off and don't do any chat. I don't look at scores. But I told him, I was like, I got to make a change. It's like sports superstitions, you know. I got to make a change, so I'm gonna start participating a little bit more. Not that anyone cares, but hey, I'll be around, Mike. So I'll hang with you. I'll hang with you. You just have to screenshot Dilly's stuff so I can keep up with whatever he's saying.
That's never turned out bad
Yeah.
at all. Not
Yeah.
one time did that turn out bad.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we're going to talk about matchups and some stuff kind of mixed in, and just see where it goes. We don't have the full the full show because we don't have scores yet. We don't have any trades to talk about. So we're just gonna go over the matchups and start talking about the league coming up. We will start, of course, with the marquee mark matchup of the week, which is Pooh Crew versus the AA Bombers. So I kind of feel like this one sets the tone for these teams moving forward. They both could look back at this as a key win or loss early, especially when you look at how they finished both 8-6 last year, and Ian just made it on points, you know. So kind
Yeah.
of starting off where we left off in the playoff race. It seems like a fun one for me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I
Go
think
ahead, Mike.
there's a good first week matchups, and I like this one. Um, I think one of the fun undertones is Ian has made it pretty apparent in chat that he thinks Aaron's pick is going to be first, like a legit 1-1 next year. He's mentioned it a few times. He's mentioned it a few times in chat. So, if Aaron comes out and beats Ian week 1, it's going to set the tone for the pick the whole season.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I like this matchup. This is good. Week 1, marquee matchup. Uh, there are a couple things looking at both these lineups together that I'm kind of questioning and would love to get your guys' point of view on. First, starting on the A Bomber side over here. Mike Evans, do we think he's going to be what he normally is? Usually he is kind of touchdown dependent. We'll see what he does. What do you guys think about him?
I dinged up. What has it got? Groin, I think maybe. Has it got dealing with a groin injury? But it's sort of like, isn't he always dealing with something? You know, I remember
Yeah.
him playing on one leg and getting 2 or 3 touchdowns where he came in on goal to go situations. So
He only needs his hands and one leg. That's all he needs.
yeah, I don't know how serious the injury is. It kind of popped up a little bit late in the preseason, I should say. Um, if he's anywhere near like 75%, I think he'll be just fine. So
I'm more
now I
worried
think
about how his Baker Mayfield situation plays out than
true,
his
true.
than his
Just getting
groin.
ready to. That's what I was going next. So good point, Mike. Keep going with that. Yeah, yeah. No, that's what. Yeah, that's everybody's kind of got their eyes, especially
Yeah.
Sean's got their eyes on that situation. But it's pretty sad that Trask, if you can't beat out Baker Mayfield, are you really an NFL quarterback? You know, so probably Trask's days are numbered, but they kind of have to go with what they have right now.
Yeah, I I have mixed feelings. I have my fan feelings, and then I have my fantasy football feelings, which are two vastly different things right now. But I hope Mike Evans does well for the A Bombers
Yeah.
this.
He's got Andrews. Andrews has a questionable tag. Do you guys know what's going on with Andrews? I had missed that somehow. Not sure what he's got going on, but
See,
I
he's
don't know,
got
but
it.
it says
I don't know
Mark
actually.
Andrews is expected to return to practice Wednesday.
Okay. Ooh, Wednesday.
But Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know, man. It's Avon's got a he's got some really good guys in there, but he needs his guys to stay healthy too. You know, he can't
Yeah.
really afford too many injuries. I love it though that he's got Ridley. Ridley's got to be like found money, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because a bomb. We've talked about his roster's kind of old. He doesn't have a lot of depth. He's playing guys, like freaking Barrios and different guys like that. We've all
Yeah.
talked about that, and he's probably like, man, if I just had one more guy, and then you look down and there's Ridley, When I saw that, I was like, oh wow, he's got Ridley now. That's awesome, man.
I'm sure he'd
I
like
don't
Ridley to hit because if I remember
Oh
right,
yeah,
Ridley was part of the Tyreek Hill trade. So
yeah,
if
Yeah.
Ridley comes
yeah,
back, that trade looks a lot different. Like a year and a half later.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, playing the
Ridley
long game.
Ridley was in the deal for Hill, and there's only a couple years difference. And we all know Hill's gonna get his. He's said that he's gonna do 2,000 yards this year. So
little concern for A-Bomb with Allen and Gabe Davis going up against the Jets at the division game, and Jets have a good defense, and
Yeah, they
you
got
know
deep.
Dave Davis is a flex guy, but I know he's counting on Allen for a lot, so that's a big game. That's one of the I'm really excited about that game to start off the season because here talking about setting the tone, that one kind of sets the tone for that division, so be a good one,
Yeah,
man.
Monday night, first Monday night of the season. Let's
Yep.
go.
And then you get Herbert for Ian with his new offensive coordinator, which we'll see how that plays out. Good luck with him.
Yeah. I thought that guy was pretty good. What do you think about him, man? Do you not like him or?
No, I liked him. He got Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
he was
Gary Jones.
yeah, like he must have argued with Jerry about some stuff, and it felt like they'd start the game, he'd be calling a great game, creative game, and then they'd get to the like after the half, and it was just 2.5 yards up the middle with Zeke and finish the
yeah.
game.
I felt like if Moore could stick around, he might be the next head coach, and so I kind of hate that. And not to say they can't bring him back as a head coach later, but a little more difficult after you've let him go to another team now. But yeah, that's that, and he's Herbert's starting out with a kind of a tough matchup. A lot of people are saying Miami's defense they feel like they're going to make a step up this year, and so that's a tough one to start out against for Herbert. But
I think the people on the Crew's side that is probably uh, under projected, in my opinion, is DK Metcalf. I mean, he had a good season last year, but he's only projected 11 points. I think he's gonna definitely hit that. I mean,
yeah,
his average.
it's funny looking at some of these matchups and the greens and the oranges and the reds matchup, and they're talking about the Rams being like they got them on orange, I think, don't they? Sort of like
Mm-hmm.
we don't really know, man. I mean, gosh, they Rams have really taken a step back. Offense may not be too good, so if the defense has to be on the field too much, then it doesn't matter how good they have, good players they have, they may peter out. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't look at the Rams as a tough matchup, but we'll see what happens there.
Then with the injury at tight end for him, he has Pitts in, which I'm sure he's happy that he got that trade done with Doctor Dookie over there, and his cousin Landon the Bandon, and
Yeah,
got Pitts. Got nice to have him on the bench to be able to plug in.
I
yeah.
I guess, but how much of this is still just Kyle Pitts? It's like, at what point is it, you know? Where's he
That's
actually fall in looks on that team? Like third now? They got a bunch of shiny new toys, especially week one.
yeah.
I mean, his name's Kyle Pitts. If that were anybody else, like with his, if take away that it was Kyle Pitts and the draft capital and the fantasy love, and you give anybody else his stats, change his name, do you really want him in your lineup right now? I wouldn't.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's still iffy, and he's coming off injury, and he seemed to me to be a little slow in the preseason. He didn't, I don't know. I don't know if he played much, or I just the reports I was seeing about him and some of the videos I saw in practice, he seemed a little bit, still seemed a little bit off to me. And you
What do
got
we think
Desmond
that?
Ritter. That's a big question mark right now, Desmond Ritter, and they're probably going to run the ball a lot. And so yeah, there's a lot of reasons to be scared of Pitts right now.
I was
So
gonna say, like, how do you think this offense is gonna be? Like, run first, definitely. Run second, probably. Run third, depending on what one and two did. Run third is gonna happen too,
it
and then
could
it's gonna just be dump off season on third down. Hopefully, Pitts is the target for it.
could be a true 50-50 team, run to pass, which is
Mm-hmm.
bad. I mean, nobody's that close to even in the NFL. They could hit it this year. Does sound kind of suck for Kelsey because that guy has been durable, man. We were talking about it in the pre-show where he missed a little bit of time in his rookie year, And then over the last 9 seasons, he only missed 3 games. One was for
Yeah.
COVID, and 2 were healthy scratches. So the guy just he's been out there, and I know that I've been fading him the last couple of years now. I'm not gonna draft him. He's getting older. It's about his time. He just keeps on going out there and proving me wrong. So I hated it for him, man. I guess there will come a day. Everybody has that day where they fall off. Kind of sucks for him. And I
Yeah.
hated the way. I'm sorry, the way they were reporting the injury. They're hyperextending. They're saying hyperextended. That's isn't that what happens? Isn't that the mechanism when you tear an ACL or PCL or any knee sprain even? That's the mechanism is your knee hyperextends, right? It seems ambiguous to me. They really haven't come out and said anything much after
I thought I said that or read that they didn't tear anything though, at least.
it. Okay.
So, but yeah, I don't know what it would be.
Maybe that's why they were going with that instead of saying something more. But I don't know. With not after 2 hours and not seeing any updates, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
why are they saying just hyperextended? And then one guy was like, "Oh, you can get over that in about an hour. He's gonna be okay." And I was like, "Yeah, he must be a Kelsey fan, or he must be rostering a lot of Kelsey." But then later on, that same guy was like, "Oh, it looks like he's gonna miss some time." So it must be there's some swelling. I did hear there's some swelling, so it must be enough where he may not be ready for Thursday night, which sucks because that was a great matchup,
Mm-hmm.
being right there playing against Detroit. Oh my God, amazing.
Only better matchup is everybody against Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, true,
I saw
true.
somebody ask if the Chiefs had any of that medicine they gave Mahomes in the Super Bowl left over for Kelsey this week.
What do you
Can't
think,
bottle up.
guys? We we gonna call winners and losers? We just gonna talk about it? I don't know. Do we don't usually do that. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we predict, but I don't
I
know.
think this year we're gonna do the. Do we think they're gonna go higher than they were last year in the standings, or below, or stay the same?
Yeah, being the first show and not the normal format. I guess yeah, we're gonna talk about each individual manager. Do they move up or they move down?
So we don't have to be exact here, but
No,
Ian finished fourth, and Aaron finished fifth last year.
All right.
both of
So
them 8 and
who are we
6.
gonna do first?
Yeah, both 8 and 6, fourth and fifth. Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know.
Aaron's probably gonna finish lower than
I feel like
that.
Aaron's
So,
probably a little. I don't agree
yeah.
that Aaron is the lock for the 1-1 here, Ian. But I feel a
You
little
don't
lower
think
in
if
five.
he gets to the bottom four, he's gonna win it?
Yeah, well, that's following Ian's logic. He's predicting he'll be in the bottom 4
And then
because he'll
win.
have the
Yeah.
best roster down there, and he'll get the 1-1.
If I see Aaron start to slide, I'm tanking going to the bottom four. And I'm just gonna win it.
Yes, yes. Or
I don't
he's
know.
the Jelligan Fallow.
I don't
Or
know
he's
who has
Jelligan
my pick though.
Fallow.
I think the DBs have my pick, so never mind.
I gotta feel like he'll be right around there again, and he always has been. I think if you look back, man, he's always kind of lurking about, right, just either in the playoffs or just outside, kind of lurking about there. Usually seems to find a way to make it in, but last year he lost it on
Yeah.
points.
Last year
So
was the first time he didn't make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
he has a knack for finding that guy that
Flipping
can get
it.
some points. Was that?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. How do we think about Ian? He was fourth last year, and he only got in by points.
That's his worst record so far, I think, too, at 8 and 6, right?
I mean, if you look at the trends, which fantasy's built on trends. Ian misses the playoffs this year, so
No, that can't happen.
Keeps on trending down.
I actually feel pretty. I would say about 4 again. I think he's probably going to stay right about the same.
I'd say
Yeah.
below 4, but not a lot.
You had to put him 4.5. He might need a little help to stay in, but I feel like he's right there.
He's got some key guys.
It's
Like
the
now with Pitts, if he's going to roll with Pitts, then we talked about why that could be another bad year. I think Pitts may come around finally and be the guy we thought he would be, but I think it'll be at least a slow start this year, if not an off year for him. You got a guy like ETN who's got Bigsby in there now. Everybody's saying is going to take some time, take some playing time. Alexander Madison, I kind of feel like I don't feel like he's a workhorse. I feel like he's been a great sub, but is he a guy that can? Is he a guy that can carry the load? I'm really
He's a
not.
threat.
I'm not convinced. And
hmm
then Christian Watson. Um, I see a lot about him that I don't know. Just kind of doing a lot of us here, but I look at Christian Watson. He's got a lot of speed. He's still, coming from the small school. He's still learning how to run routes. I don't know. I'm not convinced that
Why you
Watson's the
scared to
guy.
get off the pot and make a choice?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not considered. I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm looking at ways where, you know, where he could. These some of these guys are good. All right. Yeah.
Ah, there we go. Here we go. Let's
Sorry.
go.
Sorry. You
This is
know
how
me.
we do
I overanalyze all of it, but yeah, his roster got some question marks. I think. I'm sure he'll love that when he hears this tomorrow.
Oh, he'll hear it tonight if I upload it because he's got notifications turned on, and Evan knows too. He'll listen to it.
All right, we
All
spent a
right,
lot of time on that one. We're gonna have to do this next one a little. Have to do this next one a little quicker. That's what she said. All right, second matchup we got is the Prince and Tank Top Mike. So here's another key matchup. See who starts out on top and who's playing catch up in week 2.
Well, I like my odds how they're stacked right now. My team versus the man Patty Mahomes, the man Austin Eckler. So this is how you're gonna go with it, Mike. I think I like my odds toward.
See, I didn't want to bring somebody new into the locker room. You can keep your Tim Tebow's. My guys just needed a rest. It's maybe it's my turn for the injury bug early. I got Cooper Cup needed a rest. Kittle needed a rest. Judy needs to rest. I mean, even Jaceki, he needs a rest. I got Kamara, he's resting. He's resting nice.
Mandatory.
But yeah, I just they needed a rest, and they Mahomes and Eckler they just felt like they needed to show the team what to do. They're out there, they're ready to go. They're my Captain America facing the whole at the end game.
Yeah.
So they need a rest, and really I got tired of looking at that same damn lineup for the last 4 months as part of it too, but every day. Every day, and the new questionable popped up, so I had to get rid of it.
Well, if you leave it like this and the guys can see tomorrow, you literally have Mahomes and Eckler in your lineup, and then 8 empty bench spots. So.
My
TBD.
lineup has changed since I acquired freaking Chase, so it is what it is.
And you're still undefeated since Chase came back from that injury. So,
Well, Sean, I see you're rolling with Schultz, and that's a risky one for me, man. When I look at it, what do you feel about his chances this year with the rookie quarterback, changing teams and all of that?
yeah, let's hear it.
My point of view is that tight ends are a exit valve for rookie tight ends, so rookie quarterbacks. So maybe he'll get a lot of targets. But my other possibilities are a 50-50 between 2 of my tight ends and Hendershot. All right, so I think he's my best shot for right. I can't.
Did you even consider starting Kincaid, who you drafted in the first round?
No.
You would think
did
a
not.
first round draft pick, man, get him in
Mhm.
your lineup, right? I mean,
No.
yeah, I was a little surprised when I saw that. So, not trying to
did not.
change your mind, huh?
I'm not. Nope.
Yeah, I'm not
No.
trying to change.
Keep
Not trying
going.
to change your mind, but that one jumped out. But otherwise, you got a pretty good lineup going there. What do you heard about Burrow and the calf? I think they've been kind of quiet. I haven't
Burrow,
heard anything.
Burrow's gonna go back to practice this week, and he's gonna be good to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Chase said he's fine, so.
Yeah. Doctor Kamar Chase, that only went to school for 4 years. Well,
Yeah.
3 years. I said he was perfectly fine. So.
I don't know. They've been really quiet about that, which I would be too, because you don't want to tip your hat to anybody. But man, when he goes out there, the way that injury happened, and he's already wearing a brace on it, or a sleeve on his calf, man. I don't know. I mean, I've done that. I've hurt my calf playing basketball, and kind of it hurts that burst when you try to take off. Um, but I mean, I've come back from him in a couple of weeks, so he can, I'm sure they're doing everything can for it, but it just depends on the severity too. So that's one thing I haven't heard.
He practically exploded, and he came back in a season, less than a season.
No, I mean he's a tough dude. He's going to play. I mean, yeah, he amazed me because that knee injury he got late in the season. He was back out there to start, and he wasn't quite the same, but he worked through it. So I feel like that's what he'll do, but I just wish I knew more about it.
Yeah, I honestly probably won't make any changes to my lineup going into Thursday night.
Yeah.
So I don't have any Thursday night players, so I have until Sunday to make some choices. But I don't see myself making any
Um, the other one I saw was eight, huh?
differences. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
The other one I saw was Akers has a kind of a tough matchup too. Seattle's kind of another one of these defenses that people are predicting to take a step up. So that could be a tough one
Well,
there.
with the potential that their number one wide receiver might not be playing week 1, I think they're gonna spread the ball around a lot more. So Akers had his last few weeks last season, he was doing very, very well.
Yeah. No, he sure was. He sure was.
We'll see if we can get a whole season of that shit.
Yeah. Right.
And then
Right. Right.
maybe we'll go away in my head.
Yeah. It'd be a close one. I wish I knew more about who Mike was going to play. I might be able to make a better determination, but
He's got the two captains. That's all he
Yeah.
needs.
he's got the two
I
top
like
dogs in
to.
there.
They're not captains on my team. They're L's and D's on my team. Leaders and dogs. The Deion Sanders. Because like we were talking about being humble. If I win, it's gonna go full Deion Sanders in this fucking league. So I'm starting it early. L's and D's.
L's and D's, baby.
So are you guys
All right,
gonna
so-
make the call on your rosters or on your seasons up or down, or you just want me to do it?
You don't have to make the call on your own roster.
Oh.
So-
man.
If you want to, let's go. I'm ready. Let's fucking go.
Mine's easy because I was 2 and I don't have a lot of confidence, so I'm going the other direction.
Oh, I got confidence coming out my asshole. So let's go.
Where'd you finish last year, Sean? 5? No, 6, right? 6.
Who cares?
6. So.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I agree. I think here's an easy one to go up. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, he definitely can make a push for the playoffs. I think Michael's hang around the top 4 as well. So, I mean, yeah, he finished second. It's easy to say down, but I think he'll hang around. I think it'd be kind of, I don't know. I feel like you this season sort of like A-Bomb. You're gonna be there in the mix, right there down to the end. So,
I have a few guys. If they have a nice season, you could make.
Yep. Yep.
If not start them, at least move them
guy
and
in
do some
Washington
things.
I'm keeping an eye on.
this.
I said there was a guy in Washington that I'm keeping an eye on.
Yeah,
No, that's-
everybody. The fantasy world is catching up to Jahan Dotson. You guys are about a season behind, so
Just
welcome.
took the thought out of my head. I said this is the year where Mike's trade with me to get Dotson there in the second round might look a whole lot different by the end of this season.
Yeah,
And it
just-
sure sure didn't do anything for me. The guy I got's on your roster now, Sean, with Sutton. So he'll do fine on your roster. It's just mine they don't like for some. All right,
So
we'll move
Art,
on.
no, we ain't moving on. You didn't make a freaking choice on
I did,
either of
man.
us.
I didn't do the thumbs, but I said what I thought, man. I said you're
Oh, okay.
I said
My
you're
bad.
gonna I said you're gonna make a push for the playoffs, and I think Mike is gonna go. He's gonna be hanging right around there. You know,
Okay.
he'll be right there in the mix for the playoffs. So yeah, you ought to listen. You, you know the old saying, you got you got two ears and one mouth for a reason. You're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. Haven't quite gotten that down yet, but it's all right, man.
Well, it's been nice. Week one. That's it.
We we still love you, Primo. All right, man. Let's move on to the third matchup on the docket. We've got the DBs going up against Goofy Jace. So I looked at this one and I thought this is going to be a better matchup later in the season. They have to play again. DB's got the stacked roster, no injuries to speak of right now. And meanwhile, Goofy's got some young guys like Addison, Mims, Mingo, maybe even Jamison Williams if he can get his head together, you know. So I think he's going to be like a better second half team than a first half team. So I look at this one now and I'm like, it's maybe leaning towards the DBs, but I sure am interested to see this one when Goofy's roster matures. What do you guys think?
Speaking of trends, I think Top brought up first two seasons. DBs had a very good roster going into the season and did not totally come to fruition of what their roster would tell you. Last year, obviously, they won. Congratulations again. I think this is going to be a murdering by the DBs. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be
Yeah, I think. Yeah, unfortunately, I agree. It just feels like everybody on their lineup has got nothing but hype all off season, and they're just ready to go,
yeah,
which
yeah.
sucks.
Everybody coming in healthy. That's what hurt them in the first couple of seasons. That they just had so many injuries to the point it was we couldn't do anything but make jokes about it. Because it was just like, just when you thought you couldn't get another injury, they'd come up with a way to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming in with everybody healthy. Um,
They
yeah,
have
and I look.
two of the most hyped people in the offseason this year in Garrett Wilson and Gibbs.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
which is exciting.
What is Gibbs' injury? No, it wasn't Gibbs that got hurt, was it? It was A Chain. I get those little running backs mixed up sometimes. So. But there, I had to click on. So yeah, and now with all the receiver woes in Detroit, of course, everybody's just got Gibbs being a receiver. I don't know. I think that's a little bit speculative, but um, definitely the dude's going to be involved in the offense. It's their guy. They. I feel like Swift could have been that guy, but for whatever reason, he just didn't fit in. And
He'll do
and
it
I
in
think,
Philly.
yeah, I think he'll be fine at Philly. I mean, he needed a fresh start. But they went after Gibbs big time, so you don't go pick a guy number 12 and not use him. So definitely, I think a lot of people are going to have eyes on him. It's great that he's starting the season. Prime time, everybody watching one game, and there's Gibbs for you, man. That's going to be great to see.
All right. Where do we think these teams, where did they at last year? We know that the DBs won it all last year. Where did Goofy
He finished the regular season 9-5, solely in third place.
And if you remember, he kind of limped into the playoffs. Unfortunately, he had quite a few injuries. And I like
So,
his draft. I liked his draft this year. He needed some infusion of youth and I feel like he got some good guys in Mims and Addison. I think even Mingo second half of the season maybe. Um, so I like what he did there. He really needed some young guys. Um,
Hmm.
he was sort of competitive rebuild maybe. He definitely needed to reload a little bit, but he still made the playoffs, and so he's been his trend is 1 year in, 1 year out, 1 year in. So is it going to be 1 year out, or are these young bucks going to pull him over the finish line again?
Someone's gonna have to get out of the top four for me to get in there. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he has a good second half of the season, but I think the slow start kills him, and he's going to be out of the playoffs just by probably maybe by points or just a game or so. But the scare,
whenever you
well,
get,
we can get into that afterwards. I guess I got a maybe a little hot take at the end for how this league might. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
all right, all right. DBs are obviously
Uh,
down. They
I,
were number one last year.
you accused me of not doing it, and now you're skipping me. What the hell, Sean?
Well, get her get off the spot. Last time you gave us a 15-minute thesis on why Ian was going to go down.
Well, you know what? With Ian, you got to give him the proof, right? I mean, you can't just say I think you're going to be down. You gotta argue it out with him. I would just kind of it was my salvo, my preemptive salvo, firing some
If that,
shots at him. Huh?
if that isn't preemptive, I've never heard it before. Like, he knew that Ian was going to be in his DMs right after this
Oh yeah.
show post and
Yeah.
giving him every reason why he wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
So he had to cut it off at the head right there.
Yeah, with Goopy, I think it's going to be hard for him to repeat at number three. But he's he seems to get lucky. Like I was looking at him having Jamal Williams in his lineup, and I want to give you a penny for freaking Jamal Williams in the off season, and the dude ends up being the last man standing. He's going to get a workhorse load for the first three games of the season, probably. I don't think Miller's going to be back in time, and it's like fucking goofy, man. Lucky son of a bitch, man. Like Cordell Patterson when he had him. And it's like, yeah, he's 31 years old. He's out of the league, and he has the best year of anybody. So Goofy always seems to pull a rabbit out of his hat. So I think it'll be down from three, but you know how it is in this league, man. There's a bunch of people right there at that, fighting for that number four spot, and I feel like he'll still be hanging in there. If he can get a few W's, um, maybe that he pull off a few early that he shouldn't have gotten, then I think he'll be hot down the stretch if these guys come to fruition. So
I'm just laughing at the Jamal Williams comment because in another league that we're all in, I traded him for a second round pick.
yeah, that's a that's a good get for Jamal Williams, but it probably looked like that trade probably looked like crap at the time, but now it's like holy shit, this guy with Jamal is gonna get something out of him. Got him in his flex, right?
Have fun.
So yeah, someone's got to poke the rock for New Orleans. All right, so on to the DB, Sean. Go ahead.
I think DBs are going to go down. Not because they're a bad team or they don't have it. I just think 3 for 3 with new champions. I think we'll get a new champion.
I think we get a new
I think they're
champion,
in,
but I think that they finished the regular season at at one. I wouldn't be surprised if they repeat top seed in the regular season.
I could get behind that one. Yeah. Then, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of luck involved in fantasy. Just like the real league, it's hard to repeat as champs. And
Yeah.
crazy crap happens in the playoffs, in the fantasy playoffs, and then yeah, I know that I've seen it a bunch of times. The guy who squeaks in, you know, plays the guy who was on bye. Not in this league, but guy's got the bye, and then second week he plays the guy that was at the bottom and ends up losing. It's just crazy the way it happens sometimes. So it's about a lot of times it's about how hot you are down the stretch.
I don't know how or why, but they're gonna lose somehow related to Michael Thomas. It's gonna happen. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that's what's happening.
That'd be so spicy.
Evan's gonna throw him in right as roster's lock. Brandon's gonna like throw his phone across the room, and he's just gonna.
We're just
Now-
gonna hear this yell in North Carolina, and it's gonna be like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be Brandon yelling at freaking Evan.
Or Michael Thomas has a good 2-3 game stretch. Trade him to the wrong guy. Goofy ends up beating him in the championship for using Michael Thomas. He sneaks into
4
the playoffs.
touchdown day by Michael Thomas. Yeah, right.
Goofy with his collection of 35-year-old wide receivers.
Yeah. The all geriatric team.
Dang, that's cold blooded.
I'm kind of partial to his roster, I can identify.
You can identify, he says.
Yeah, I think the guys they may correct you, may correct us tomorrow. I think officially Brandon sets the lineup, and Evan handles trades. That's kind of the two major. I don't know how they divvy up the rest of it, but that's I think Evan has roster, and we know Evan has roster because he's like a freaking ADD child, man. I want this guy. Wait, no, I want this guy. Wait, this guy. He's a shiny new thing. I want this guy. But it's cool. You never have to pick.
I think that's Evan's way of saying that the first 2 years wasn't his fault.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I think that's their official stance is that Brandon is lineup and Evan is trades and roster. So roster churning. But we'll let them tell us. I'm sure they will. So yeah, I mean they can't go up. They can stay the same, or they can go down. And I kind of agree with Mike. They may have the best record. But I think we're all pulling for a new champ. Let's make it 4 for 4, right?
Yeah.
They did not have the most points scored last season, though, so there is room for error, I guess. So.
There you go.
Who
There you go.
who had the most points scored?
It was me. Thank you for segueing into that. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but that worked out pretty nice.
I'm just tossing the softball up. You just smack it up.
All right, let's
All right.
move on to our next one. Sean's giving me the I don't know what that is, man. It is something between you and your girlfriend there.
Oh,
So,
Whoa!
we found out it's tea time
Oh,
soon.
Blake.
We have less than an
Oh,
hour
yes.
until tea time.
that's right. He's having tea with Ian, so he's got a tea time. So we'll hurry up. That's what it was. He meant to do that with his pinky, but he's holding the teacup. There you go. All right.
All right, let's go.
Next one up, we have Dr. Donkey and the Professor, still my favorite name, for their team, versus Silly Dilly. So I love this for the tips, man. They got 4 rookies on their starting lineup. They got 2 second-year guys. They got 2 third-year guys. And then they got dusty old Dalvin as the lone veteran there. And
Pushing their average age like up 4 years by
it's
one
crazy,
person.
man.
Yeah.
Crazy. I didn't look at that, but that'd be a fun exercise. Dilly's rocking a couple of rooks in this one too. In this battle of the bottom. What do we think, guys?
Go ahead, Mike.
I don't know. Do we have
All
to
right,
review this one?
For the people that can't see, Mike was literally just rolling his eyes and shaking his head when I threw it to him. He's just like, "Oh man."
All right. I got some stuff. There's some fun stuff to talk about. What do you think about Sky? What do we think about Sky Moore? Got that matchup against Detroit. We just talked about Kelsey being out.
I
Is
think
it
Justin
Sky
Ross
for
is
Sky?
coming in. Justin Ross is going to take the wide receiver 1 role in the first 2 weeks from Sky Moore.
Okay. Bold takes from Tank Top Mike.
I still think that QJ's receiver profile is hot trash. Um, he just went to a good offense, and that's why people draft him. But he, you know, he separates worse
moving
than
on
the
from
deep
that.
south during COVID and catches with his body. So I don't care about him. Just Jalen Rager again. Let's see that.
Oh man, you're putting that on him? You're putting Jalen Rager on him?
Are you calling it right now? QJ is going to be a bust.
Where was he drafted? Let's see. They took him 1-4. Oh, well, they had like 7 picks right in a row, so I guess that doesn't really count. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting.
He could have gone. I think they had 3 in a row, and they took him first. He could have went 6.
yeah. No, I actually think that the Tips did a pretty fun job of rebuilding pretty quick. I think so they have a fun young lineup. They screwed up with still Dalvin Cook, and then they have a lot of quarterbacks. We pick on Goofy a lot for having a lot of quarterbacks, and the Tips have more, and most of them suck.
Way more.
So
Yeah, they got the rookie Richardson in against Jacksonville. So that's an interesting one. But you may as well, right? When you're rebuilding, you may as well throw the guy in that could rush for a couple of touchdowns and 100 yards and pass for 75 and still give you a good day.
You got to get those starter reps. Those starting reps really do stuff for you.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Silly Dilly's lineup, and the first term that comes to my mind is crazy.
Okay. Oh.
Because in the flex spot, he has Laporta.
Oh, in the
So,
flex spot. Who's he playing at tight end? See that?
AB.
Oh, okay.
so then my question to you is, if you're saying bench Laporta, so who would you put in instead?
Fantastic question. Let me see.
That's always the thing when you look at the starting lineup. You're like, what in the hell? There's got to be somebody better, and then you look at the bench and you're like, sadly, there really isn't. Who would you put in, Sean, over Laporta?
Robinson in New York.
Robinson in New York. What Robinson?
Who?
Butcher his first name. Wandell.
Oh, Wandale Robinson from
Robinson.
Giants. From the Giants. Yeah. Okay.
From New York.
He's just coming off injury, so I don't know if he's 100% yet. So,
And he gets Dallas's defense, and we have the best secondary in the league.
Yes. One of the highest paid anyway. Huh?
I'd put in Rondell Moore.
That's a tough one. She's got a dude. I'm guessing his name is Xavier Gibson. I don't know of any other name that starts with an X.
Rondell Moore.
Crap. Oh hell, man, dude, no brainer. Put Thielen in there. Everybody, I know Thielen's older than I am, but
I didn't even know. Yeah,
dude's gonna get targets, man.
I vote for Thielen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put him in there. Laporta, playing against KC, first game of the season, man. I don't know. That's a wait and see for me. Laporta could be something, but I wouldn't want to bet on it in my first game when I'm trying to start off the season.
Well, you're under projected, right? I mean, you're not under projected against Dr. Donkey over here, but you're 92 points. You're chasing the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Porto's ceiling is not 11 points. Like,
Yeah.
Thielen still has it in him to be able to get to the end zone and catch 4 or 5 balls, right?
Right.
So the ceiling's higher.
And they got the connection going. I mean, they brought him in there to help Young, and man, Thielen's had some. I've seen some good highlights on him in camp, and excuse me, I'm sorry, preseason. So I think they got a connection, man. That's a no-brainer right there for me. Ride that horse until he heals over, man, which could happen, but I'd put him in there for sure. He does have good Flowers and Beckham. He's got the 2 Baltimore receivers in there going up against Houston. That's probably a decent. Those are decent matchups. And Pollard, I think, will do well against the Giants. So He's got a little bit of something going on, but then you look at he's got Connor in there going up against the Commanders. Man, that's a I'd try to get Connor out of there somehow. Although I think Higby is not a bad play now. With if Cup's not able to go, then Higby's probably the sleeper to be one of the top target getters.
Well, he's
So
thinking Van Jefferson's going to get the targets with him being his number one wide receiver.
well, yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Jefferson definitely he didn't get to play the whole season. He went out early last season, didn't get to play with Stafford. Of course, then Stafford went out. It was kind of a wheels kind of fell off last year. So um,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I feel like Higby could be kind of the dark horse for the target leader week to week until Cup's back in there. So and look at that, Aaron Rodgers going up against Buffalo, man. That's a tough start right there too.
That's going to be such a good freaking Monday night game.
Yeah. Hey, the good news for Dilly though is that trade is already paying off. He's got Isaiah Hodgins in his flex spot. Let's giddy up, man. He's he saved the DBs a drop, and it turned into a flex for him. I'm really happy for him. I do feel like Hodgins will be one of the top three. I think he could be top three. I think he'd be in top three for the Giants. 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 Yeah, I feel like he can be in their top three, but you know,
Well, they
what
don't
does
have
that
anybody else.
what does that mean behind Waller? So
All right, where did these guys finish last year, Tank Top?
Well, 9th and 10th.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, let's be more specific here. The Tips were 9th and Silly was 10th.
okay.
All right, I got mine.
So, can you tie?
Can you tie? I got silly being 9, and depending on, well, yeah, I think.
I think I agree with that because I think that we're going to spend a weird amount of time every show going over Silly's lineup, and eventually he's going to listen to us and start taking our advice, and he'll win some games down the stretch.
That's kind of the point.
So I will say though, Silly's lineup as it sits, you put Thielen in, and I don't mind it.
Florida's the only cringe art he has right now. I think if
Good thing.
yeah, I'm with you, Tank Top.
And
Put
again,
Thielen-
Silly does it in chat, and he has set this lineup with authority and conviction, and I'm behind him.
More power to you. Number 9 is waiting for you.
Yeah, I think I look at Tips lineup or Tips roster, and I feel like I said before, they're kind of the all upside team. So we just have to see how these guys shake out. They got a good lot of good young talent on the roster. We'll have to see how they do. It could be another one of these second half teams that could get them out of the cellar. I could see them finishing up at as high as eighth place, maybe. I think they'll go up. I think before the end of the season they'll go up. Dylan finished 2-12. Um, Dylan's gonna his roster's gonna have to stay healthy, and for him to get out of the cellar. So he can. I don't know. I feel like he's bottom four though. I mean, I'm not gonna get him out of the bottom four with what he's got. I think a lot's got to fall his way for him to even get up towards the top of the bottom four. So,
And then Aaron's going to beat them all.
and then
I love your opening statement about that you're going to tank and get into the bottom 4 so that doesn't happen.
I'll do it. Who has my
I'm all-
pick? I need to know who has my pick first.
Who cares? As long as Ian doesn't get the number 1 pick.
It
And
is the DBs. They have my pick. I'll get it back.
yeah, they'll need something down the stretch after they trade away Michael Thomas and the wheels fall off.
Maybe that's what it is. They'll trade away Michael Thomas to me somehow, and then I'll use him to get the first overall pick. And then Michael Thomas turns into Marvin Harrison Jr.
You're already calling that. I was thinking the same. If Ian gets the number 1 pick, he's going for Marvin probably. So I think that's a prize in a 1 QB league for sure. Well, I didn't hear anything about tanking, and my memory's not what it used to be. Have fun, guys, and do your thing.
I'm glad this is going to be posted somewhere where we can refer back to it whenever we want.
All right. We'll go on to the last matchup. Not that I really want to, but we're going to go with the Johnsons. I'll shorten my name down. The Johnsons going up against FNG. So Sleeper has me as a favorite to win the first Miyagi of the season. There's a couple that are projected lower than me, but not much lower. So they got me in the mix for the first Miyagi. Thank you very much, Sleeper. So I have to have the all overachieved team to do anything. Now, a big part of it's because I made a roster change today, and that put my points down even more. So, what do you think, Sean? I see you over there
All right, so I'm looking at your roster, right?
trying to
I'm
do the
looking at
math in your head and smoke coming out from under your hat. But go
I'm
ahead.
looking, I'm looking at the projections, and I'm like, right? Did I see this right? Like, Waddle's only projected to get 10.5 points. Lockett is only projected to get 10.75 of a point. I think those two guys are vastly projected. How's the secondary in Pittsburgh? I think Ayuk is going to do better than 10 points flat.
Yeah, that one scares me a little bit though because it's West Coast coming east, and Pittsburgh's got a decent defense. Huh?
Week 1 though. Like,
No, I know. That's what I say though. A lot of things good. That's a game where San Francisco should on paper should start out 4-0, but that's one of these where you're like, yeah, that's a tough start to go all the way east to the Eastern time zone now and play against a decent team at their place. Uh, that's got upset in the making right there.
I think they're edging. I think the projections are edging He's projected 10 points. I mean, you could easily get that with 2 carries.
Yeah, he scares me too, though. Tell you the truth,
Mm-hmm.
he scares me. I honestly would not start him if there was a better volume play on my bench. But I look at my bench, I'm like, well, a lot of these guys need some help. I might have gone with Elijah Mitchell, but he's coming off injury, so not sure about him. So looks like they're going to play Javante, but he scares me. I just feel like that's a trap play right there. I wish I had something better to go with. I almost put Roshan in just to really start off the whole ask me about my Johnson. And hey, I still might. I still might because I sure don't feel good about Javante being in there.
You
So,
gotta change your picture to the accepted. Ask me about my wiener
Yeah.
picture.
hey, there you
Yeah,
go. Man, and I told Evan I might go ahead and put that one that he made up, but that's a good idea. That's a good idea, man. I got to go whole hog with it.
I think just kind of wrapping it up. I know we're not ready to wrap yet, but a lot of these matchups are very close. It's gonna be a good week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's first week, like you said. It's a little unpredictable sometimes. So yeah, FNG's got Fields and Bijan. They could carry his day right there, man. Fields going up against Green Bay, Bijan going up against Carolina. That could that could make his day right there. He could just about outscore me. Those two guys do crazy stuff, you know. And we've seen Fields do it. We think Bijan can do it. So
Hey,
Well,
I think FNG going into week 1 deserves a little kudos, a little special kudos. He went last season of being a bye week, and now, yeah, he's not an easy out at all. So I think the tips take note. Get a lot of draft picks and don't answer DMs, and then this could be you.
yeah, yeah.
I'd say Dilly listened to this too, but he has nobody to sell to get the draft picks to.
I heard James Conner was on the block. That
Uh,
nothing happened.
Sniffed up that tree, didn't get what I wanted, so I backed out.
I missed all that. I don't know if you guys knew he's got me blocked. So I saw your part of it, Sean. It was kind of hard to follow because it was just it seemed like you just having a rant against Dylan, you know. But then I remembered I was blocked and it all came clear.
That's kind of par for the course, though, for me ranting about somebody that's not saying anything back to me.
Yeah. So
All right,
I feel like we all think FNG is on the rise. You think he goes as far as the playoffs this year?
Yeah, last
I go
season you guys finished 7th and 8th.
Seventh and eighth? Yeah. Yeah, I feel
he's
like
got played twice.
you got to play him twice. Yeah, I know that's the thing about bottom four this year. You got a team in there that really made some progress, you know. And if everything pans out, yeah, I feel like he can definitely get over me this year unless, like I say, I got the all over achiever team. Um, but yeah, that's the question: does it get up to the playoffs? I
Four
kind
of
of
these teams make it.
huh?
Only four of these teams make it.
Do we
Yeah,
do like a top? Who's our playoff guest? Do we on the spot?
we could.
Who's your
Yeah, we could
playoff
do
guy?
it on it.
Let's
We could do it
go.
on the spot. You guys, tell me what I'm in for, guys. You know, I'm the eternal optimist, and I feel like I got, like you said, you're looking at some of those projections, like these guys can beat those projections, you know. But again, I got to do some overachieving. I don't have a roster full of studs. But where do you think I come out this year?
Where did you end up last year?
I
7th.
finished seventh place, top of the bottom four, won the bottom four. So
Say about the same.
I actually think right about the same, and mostly just because the parity is a little less, and it's like the top 6, like out of the bottom 4. That's gonna be, the from 1 to 6 could be like 2 games and just by points.
yeah,
Yeah, it really could be.
when I talked about teams like Goofy and you, Mike, and A Bomb kind of hovering around the playoffs, maybe even Ian. I feel like I feel like FNG can get in that mix too, you know. And it's going to be one of those things where down the stretch, it's just about how hot you finish down the stretch, and
Because
it could be two or three teams tied, and one makes the playoffs on points, you know.
I don't think it's much of a secret. Everybody, even these two, have the Tips and Dilly. Ninth and 10th probably. It's not making fun. Seems like the obvious
Yeah.
choice. But then that leaves 8 teams that could, realistically finish, anywhere in there.
Yeah. A Bomb needs a lot to go right with some of the age and a little lack of depth and not much draft capital. So it's he needs a lot to go right to stay up there in the mix. So I don't know. I don't like to agree with Ian, but I see his logic for him going down to the bottom four, but I never count on A Bomb, man. Dude makes some wise moves where I'm just like, why can't I do that, man? Why can't I why can't I get that obscure dude off the waiver wire and put him in my flex spot and get 20 points.
Paxton Berrios wins a championship.
Why is it only A-bomb that does that? So, but after a while, you can't count on that. So, who you guys calling for the playoffs, man? That's a tough one in this league. That's a
I'll
real
go
tough
first. I'll jump on this grenade, and then you guys can just kind of run.
one.
DBs, Crew, me, and then it's going to be a three-way juggernaut fight between Tank Top Mike, which I think is actually going to win. So I think Tank Top Mike, but I think FNG is going to be right there, and I think maybe Goofy. I think it's going to come down to Tank Top Mike winning the day out and getting in. But I think it's going to come down to him fighting FNG, and then Goofy's going to be hoping for the best.
Well, looking at rosters right now to see what I think.
Everybody's like, "All right, Sean, you jumped on the grenade. All right, we're done.
We're out of time.
It is so close.
We can't make our bold predictions now." Great.
FNG. He's definitely. I mean, Bijan's going to be a big addition. AJ Brown, of course.
So what's up?
Picking.
Sorry, I had to get pop-up window. Sorry.
Well, hot singles in your area.
London, yeah. London is one of his top two receivers. Stevenson, now that Elliott's there, Sanders injured, bit Cooper.
I'm excited
Now
about
with
those
Elijah
solar
there.
lights.
You know, I think definitely FNG's done a good job. He's going to make a bump up, but I think he might finish just outside. So that was where I was trying to figure out who's gonna pop in there. You know, so
Okay.
I think I'm gonna say
Well, half of Goofy's team's retired.
yeah. since we started taping. I love it, man. I love it. Love it. Yeah.
Goofy's team tired.
I think I would go DBs. I think Poo Crew slips in there somehow. It's a lot of that could depend on Taylor. He really needs. I think he needs Taylor back in there playing at a high level to make that good run for the playoffs. I think John's going to make it for the first time, and then I think I'm kind of like you, Sean. Those last three spots, I'd say could be a combination of Tank Top, A Bomb, FNG. But I feel like Mike's gonna one last run there into the playoffs with this
So you're
with this roster.
you're taking Goofy out of it, and you're putting A-Bomb in there over.
No, I'm saying I didn't say,
Team.
no, I said the definites I think are DBs, Poo Crew, and you, Sean. So I think those are the definites. I think Goofy might struggle early on and come on late and maybe just be outside of it, you know. And I kind of feel like that describes A Bomb too. That's why I was calling Tank Top for the last one there. Maybe FNG and Tank Top fighting it out there right at the very end.
I will say this: it would be a definite take top if there wasn't the question around Cup and Judy was starting, because I think Judy
Absolutely.
was going to have a freaking crazy year.
Yeah, I got hit hard.
Yeah, no, me talking about him being in the mix, you know, for that last playoff spot is only because of where he stands right now with the injuries, unfortunately, and the uncertainty surrounding that. And you know, you have to get out to a good start, man. That's one lesson I've learned over the last few years here, where yeah, I I can't remember if I was talking to both of you or just you, Sean, when I was like, if I start out bad this year, there's no doubt I'm going to go into full rebuild, you know. But
Yeah.
and because the basic thing I've learned is you gotta start out strong. You gotta get in that mix and stay in it.
What do you think, Tank Top?
Yeah, I agree on the three definites. I think the DBs. But if I had to say definite in an order, I would say DBs, Sean, and then Poo Crew are probably a definite. I think Ian has some question marks that he doesn't normally have. We'll have to see what his fantasy chops actually are, you know, into a season like this, because he is trending down. It's not a joke. It's facts.
You can't steal anybody from Dilly anymore.
That's true.
Well,
There's
you got
nobody
one
left.
person.
Gotta find me another roster to pick clean, damn it.
I don't want to give without giving away too much strategy. I had a 3-year window and it's year 3, so I'm not going away quietly into the night, Independence Day style. Here.
Awesome.
And that's why I said, one last run at it, because I wasn't thinking about your 3-year plan, just thinking about where your roster is right now, and that this is it, man. You gotta, next year we're looking at some of your guys like we do with A-Bomb, like, oh, he's got some age, time to retool. So
yeah,
that's what I was thinking too.
This was it, really. From like this last season was it. So I mean, that's what the Kittle move was. That was if this was the last hoorah for me. So and then we'll see what happens, and maybe it's worth it. Maybe I make it to the finals and lose 3 times in a row. Who knows? But yeah, without trying to toot my own horn, I'm not going to let myself fall out very easy. So.
Oh man, I like it. I like it.
All right, do we got any saved rounds? Anything else we want to talk about before I close this baby out for week 1?
We're good, man.
All right, that's week 1. We were all over the place. If you're listening, silly, we set you up for success. Continue to listen to us, and we will tell you how to win.
Adam Thielen.
Alan Thielen. All right. You know how it ends. It ends every day the same way. Ian,